Did you know? The moment somebody says this is the Word of God, your comprehension skills should explode, because that one phrase carries layers of contradictions that crumble the entire foundation of Christianity. Let's dissect it step by step, logically, historically, and scientifically. 1. Copyright exposes the lie. Copyright means a human wrote it and legally owns it. Humans create copyright. Humans file copyright. Humans control who can print and copy. God does none of that. So the Bible, having a publisher, an edition, a translator, a committee, a copyright, destroys the claim that it's the Word of God. If God wrote it, why does a human have ownership? 2. Word of God versus inspired by God. Comprehension exposes the contradiction. Christians can't pick one, so they say both. The Bible is the Word of God. The Bible is inspired by God. But Comprehension 101, Word of God equals God wrote it directly. Inspired by God. Humans wrote it, claiming God influenced them. You cannot be the author and not the author at the same time. That's not spirituality, that's confusion. 3. A perfect God shouldn't need imperfect human editors. If God wrote the book, why did humans have to? Add books, remove books, translate it, revise it, debate it, vote on it, re-edit it, and copyright it. A divine message shouldn't need a publisher's approval. 4. Now, the part Christians fear, the English language problem. Christians yell, Word of God, in English. But here's the comprehension issue. English is only 1,400 to 1,500 years old. The Bible is claimed to be 2,000 to 3,000 plus years old. Humanity is 300,000 plus years old, and African. So how is the eternal Word of God trapped in a European language, created thousands of years after the events created by colonizers, used to conquer and enslave, used to erase African spirituality? Why is God fluent in English, but silent in the languages of the first humans? Make that make sense. 5. The deepest contradiction, God only speaks colonizer languages. If Africans were the first humans, then African languages are the oldest languages. So explain this. Why doesn't the Bible feature any of the original African spiritual names? You never hear Shango, Oshun, Olodumare, Obatala, Mawu, Nomo, none of the first divine names in human history. But you only hear Hebrew, Greek, Latin, English, all tied to empire, all tied to conquest, all tied to colonization, a universal God, but only speaks the languages of colonizers. That's not God, that's geopolitics. 6. Science enters, and now the illusion collapses completely. Here's what science, not religion, actually shows. Scientific evidence strongly suggests that the first human languages originated in Africa 50,000 to 100,000 plus years ago. The highest diversity of sounds, phonemes in any languages on Earth is found in Africa, especially Khoisan languages. This is what scientists call the mother of all languages. All modern languages trace back to an African ancestral tongue, spoken long before Hebrew, Greek, or English existed. So tell me this. If God created all humans, why doesn't God speak the first human language? Why does God only show up when colonizer languages appear? How does a God miss the first 100,000 plus years of African humanity, but magically appear once empires start building churches? This is comprehension. 7. The geography problem religion can't escape Africans. We're the first people, created the first languages, created the first spirituality, created the first cosmology, created the first rituals. So why would we leave Africa to find a God who doesn't speak our tongue, doesn't resemble our people, doesn't honor our ancestors, doesn't exist in our oral history, doesn't match our cosmology, and only shows up in European translations? A real God would speak to the first people on Earth in the first language on Earth, not through a colonizer's tongue, using a colonizer's book with a colonizer's copyright. 8. Comprehension is the true awakening. When comprehension activates, you see the contradiction, you see the colonization, you see the programming, you see how language was weaponized, you see how belief replaced understanding, you see how Europeans hijacked ancient spiritual systems and repackaged them as Christianity. And suddenly, religion stops making sense because comprehension starts working. Final thought. When you understand copyright, history, language, evolution, and basic comprehension, you realize God is not real, Jesus is not real, but your comprehension is real. The book didn't come from heaven, it came from a colonizer's printing press. And once you see that, you can't unsee it.